cocoa production has contributed to the socio-economic development of Trinidad and Tobago for over 200 years. By 1830, Trinidad and Tobago was the world's third highest producer of cocoa, producing 20% of the world's supply. Subsequent to 1921, when local production peaked at 75 million pounds, a combination of events led to the gradual decrease in the production as the appearance of certain agricultural diseases, the development of petroleum industry, and the resurgence in sugar prices. Recognizing the need to reinvigorate the cocoa industry, the government of Trinidad and Tobago has instituted a number of initiatives. For a clear insight into the research being done, we spoke to a leading scientist at the Cocoa Research Center.
I am Professor Pat Umaharan. This is the Cocoa Research Center of the University of the West Indies. Here we do research in trying to improve cocoa yields and reducing losses due to cocoa diseases. Cocoa diseases usually take about 30 to 40% of the yield, and there are two major diseases, black pod and witch's broom diseases. With regard to disease resistance, we have laboratories that work on trying to identify varieties of cocoa that can withstand the diseases. We also use DNA fingerprinting techniques, where in the laboratory we can generate DNA fingerprints of any variety, and we can use those fingerprints as markers to transfer the good characteristics from one variety into some elite good varieties.
The process of drying cocoa is a relatively simple one. The cocoa farmer usually picks the ripe fruit and cracks open the husk of the cocoa. The beans are extracted from within and left in a dark place to ferment for approximately 1 week. They are then placed in an open air to sun-dry. To enhance the economic benefits of cocoa production, technology can be used to derive the various byproducts of cocoa. We visited Cocoa Bell Industries to learn more about this process.
So the use of different forms of equipment have added value to going from cocoa bean to chocolate, because you can't make fine chocolate without a grinder, an electric grinder, really, because before that we were using, stone on stone grinding by hand, which is impossible to get the granules fine enough in the space of time that you'd need for it to be economically viable. Also, a winnowing machine helps a lot with shelling the beans, the husk from the nibs, and it shortens the time greatly. So that would add value as well through the time that it takes. When you put cocoa through the process, you gain probably about 300% of the value, but then you also have to think about how much the machinery costs in the first place. So you need to have a proper plan in order to make it really valuable.
Internationally, the demand for cocoa is increasing, and this is because many developing countries such as China, India, Brazil, and Russia, there's a tremendous increase in demand for chocolate and other confectionery products. By the end of this decade, there's going to be a shortfall of at least 1 million tons of cocoa. So this provides an enormous opportunity for Trinidad and Tobago and the region to provide cocoa for export. We have niche fine cocoa producing countries which fetch about 2 times the value of other cocoa producing countries. And this provides us an enormous opportunity to fetch a better price that can even give you better revenue opportunities for Caribbean farmers. How do you transition the cocoa industry from bean producing country into a chocolate producing country? And that is where the greatest value for cocoa industry will come from.